Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
Hi, so I'm Matt, and I'm going to demonstrate yin and yang forming spirals with this thing. Okay, as this thing is spinning in a circle, it is being restrained from flying off with centrifugal force by the pressure I'm exerting right here, between my thumb and my forefinger. This is an inward centripetal pressure in opposition to the outward centrifugal force of the thing. This inward centripetal force at the center of this object is called yang, and the outward centrifugal force of this thing is called yin.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest today is almost 79 years old. I say again, almost. He's not there yet. He's very happy that we have him here today and even more excited about his new play. He's done a lot of acting, directing, producing, and teaching of acting. The name of the new play is called A Family Business. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Matt Clent. Matt, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Before we get started, sir, where were you born?
I was born at 1161 Shakespeare Avenue in the Bronx. In the Bronx.
You from the Bronx?
Yeah. Now
I'm from Harlem.
And I worked in Harlem from the time I was 11 years old.
My goodness.
118th Street and 8th Avenue, Malik Pharmacy. That was my dad's store. Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
Bayside High School.
Okay.
Well, in the Bronx. By the time I got to high school, we had moved to Queens.
Gotcha.
I started at PS 114, which I don't know, you might not have heard of. Did you see The Joker?
Yes, I saw
the movie The Joker. Yeah,
yeah,
when the Joker is dancing on those big steps, you know, the bottom of those steps on the right, that was my building.
Wow. I went to Aviation High School.
Oh yeah.
And I have a twin brother. He went through Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I miss New York from time to time. Miss you.
Too.
Yes.
So
what made you get into this business, sir?
Wow. I will tell you. I did some acting. I thought, what am I going to do with my life? And I was in college, and I decided I'm going to try acting. Actually, no, this woman came up to me that I knew, a friend of mine, and she said, "Do you want to be in a play?" Anyway, I delivered a letter. I was flown. It's kind of a strange letter. Anyway, I thought, well, okay, when my senior year, I'll do some acting. And I was in this play, and I was having a good time. I was kind of I guess what they called a fop, a kind of ridiculous character. And there was a whole scene where we were locked out of this. There were three guys vying for the love of this woman, the mistress of the inn. And we were in, the Count and I was like a penniless jerk, and the Count was, we were both supposed to be old, sort of decrepit men, and there was a virile soldier trying to get in the gate. We didn't want to let him in, and the gate was locked. We had this whole scene about you can't come in, and someone had left the door open in the backstage, and a wind blew the door open, and suddenly we were staring at the Count. We had all these lines about let me in, and the gate had already blown open. So it was the first time in my life I had it was like a death and a rebirth. I sort of died, and then I leaped across the stage, and I went to the spot where he would have already come in. But in that moment, I became so alive. Ron, it was like I was so connected, and the audience, I could feel the audience like experiencing every moment of my experience, and it was so exciting to me. I said, I'm going to be an actor, and that's how it started. Yeah,
and that's how it started. You know a lot of people, don't you?
I'm a lot better with faces than with names, but okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people.
Tony, could you put that picture up? Maybe you might know some of these people.
Oh, yeah,
My dear friend,
yeah,
Levy
yeah,
Lee.
yeah. That's Adam Lazar White and Levy Lee. So a great playwright. Adam,
Wow.
terrific acting
Wow.
teacher. Yeah, yeah.
You've done a lot of plays in your time. Bearings was one of them.
Bearings, yeah. Bearings was a year ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Eh, You have something from there? Oh, there you go. Where did you get that video in the beginning? That was a not that wasn't a play, that was a talk that I gave.
Yes.
I
You didn't hear anything at this moment, but
did not.
you'll hear the audio when you take it home with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because that's all I love to do. A lot of
So,
fun. Find
so
some things to do.
funny that you did that.
What's your flavor? New York or LA?
I got to tell you, at this point, LA. I came out here to teach one semester.
Uh-huh.
This was like 43 years ago. I came to teach one semester at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I was teaching at the one in New York. I thought, just as a change of pace, I got permission to come out and teach one semester here, and I liked I wanted to get more of LA. I love
Uh-huh.
space. Here's the thing about New York, just for my personality. New York is like the energy of it kind of presses in on you. And I
Uh-huh.
was already kind of intense. New York made me too intense. And in LA, at least then, it was more like horizontal, and it kind of gave you a little more space and I functioned better that way. So I came out here and I started doing very well out here, and I stayed.
And see, you had a couple of plays. Let's see, Disinherit the Wind, A
Yeah.
Misunderstanding.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Just to name a few.
yeah.
Yeah. I hate to, I'm going to tell you this because everybody who listens to the show, they know me. I have a bone to pick with actors and actresses. They come out here in great numbers. They want to be a star. There's nothing wrong with that. Go for it. Go for it. But they only do television and film. They don't do no stage.
Yeah.
What's wrong with them? What's wrong?
No, I know. But I think the best ones also do stage. And the best ones, I think. Because to maybe to kind of play yourself in sort of
Uh-huh.
simple situations, they can get away with that without a whole lot of stage training. But when
I
it comes
see.
to really developing characters and going to place exploring worlds that are not that familiar to you, it's really great to have some stage training.
Got you. You came here for a reason today. They call it a family business.
Yes, yes, yeah. That's our new play. Now
Uh-huh.
I'm not. I wrote it. I'm not in it, and and considering an amazing cast I have, you're lucky that I'm not in it because it made room for another one of these terrific actors. Um, should I tell you a little about it?
Please, I would only work. I've
Okay.
been waiting all day.
Okay, so the basic synopsis of the play is there's a young woman who is preparing dinner with her boyfriend for her parents and her boyfriend's parents. They've never met before. So she's preparing this dinner for them. So her parents are very kind of like ex-hippies. She's a spiritual psychologist. He had a store called Sitari where he used to repair musical instruments. But her boyfriend's father is like the tyrannical head of Gold Studios. He's like this big feared Hollywood mogul,
Mm-hmm.
and his beautiful, what you think in the beginning is kind of a trophy wife, but it turns out she's much, much more than that. And they're coming to dinner in the hopes that they're going to get along. And I can't tell you what happens, but all kinds of kind of unbelievable things happen, and it's very funny, and I think it's very very sympathetic at times, and also it's uplifting. That's why it's a good play for the holidays, because ultimately it's a very uplifting play. It will put you in that holiday spirit, really.
What made you write this play? What is it about it that made you say, I got to write this play?
Okay. Well, there's three things. One, and some of it doesn't make sense until you won't make sense until you see the play. But I live on a narrow street. It's right at the bottom of a hill.
Okay.
And there's a curve. And I have a neighbor. I'm talking low because I don't want him to overhear me. I have a neighbor who he parks in the middle of the freaking street. I can't get him to park next to the side. He's already been run into a couple of times, and it's right in front of my house. You know, it's dangerous. So this play has a lot to do with that. That's one thing. Another thing is, you know, I'm a certain kind of guy, and so I have a certain kind of friends. But when you have kids, the kids make friends, and then you wind up going out someplace with their parents, and they aren't necessarily the kind of people that you would be friendly with, you know. So my little daughter had a girlfriend, and we went to dinner with her parents, and the father kept saying, well, you own the complex. What's the square footage? I said, what's the square footage? He was like so into the square footage of the complex. Then he wanted to know the square footage of my house. And then he had no qualms expressing how unimpressed he was with how many square feet I had. So I think writing this play was a way of not punching this guy in the nose.
Okay. We got a couple of photos right quick before we get out of here.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Here you go. There's a couple of photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you see the tyrannical studio mogul guy?
Yeah.
That's Lindsay Merrithew. He's right there. He's right there on the right.
Wow.
And yeah, he is amazing. The cast is amazing. That's Julie Pearl over there.
Yes.
That's Bruce Nozick, and that's Allie Brown. She's the daughter who's cooking, and that's her father, and that's her mother, and that's her boyfriend's father.
Okay.
They're terrific actresses and actors.
There's another picture.
Yeah, and you may get some sense of our beautiful set, but this is Michelle Jasso. She plays this young man's mother. She's from El Salvador. She's married to the mogul.
Yes.
And behind them is sitting her son, who is engaged to the daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one more video. A picture. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the young couple, and I think this is it's I can't say that, but it's right around where I can't tell you what just happened, because that'll give something away. Yeah, but that's the family. You can just have a nice sense of the set. And if okay, now let me tell you, we're at the Hudson main stage.
Yes.
I had never been there before, even though I had a business not that far away. When I walked in there, I fell in love with that theater. It's a beautiful little theater. But the problem was, this whole play is supposed to take place in a house that's on top of a hill. In the theater, you look down and everything's flat. Well, the set designer, we got this brilliant set designer, Stephen Gifford, and he designed the set so you completely believe you're on top of a hill. It's pretty ingenious what he did.
There's your studio. There's your studio.
Oh yeah.
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 Wonderful. Matt, I want to thank you very much for stopping by and not being our ghost on the Actor's Choice. Looks like you have another good play, look to me. As they say, break a leg.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Okay.
And much thanks, sir, to your publicist, Philip Sokolov, for making this possible. Quite again.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, veteran actor, director, and producer, Matt Chait. Thank you very, very, very much. Okay. Thank you now. Roller Tony is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. We'd like to let you know that we're asking our actors people to come out and help us help a baseball player, Curt Flood, into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, Curt passed away January 20th, 1997, was the husband of one of our wonderful guest renowned actress, Judy Pace. So all you got to do is contact our office at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Roller Tony, want to thank people for the incredible way that you help us out and do good things for us and help us do the things we need. So we ask of you if you would please be so nice as to, okay, I got the wrong one. We'll move on with that. But again, give me a call at that number and we'll be able to give you some information, okay? All right. Roller Tony.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest today is an actor, an author, and a playwright. Now, over the years, he's put together tremendous quantities and qualities of material. This is all stated after he got an education. He then started serving his country as a member of the Marine Corps. That's what you just saw there. The video there was part of a conflict resolution for military, a lot of them, military veterans. I'm one of them who went through a lot of suffering. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Melvin Ishmael Johnson. Greetings, Melvin. Greeting and welcome. I like that hat together today, brother. First of all, welcome to the Actor's Choice. Second, I sincerely thank you for being here as a member of this, for helping this country out. A lot of people don't understand what it's like to wear that uniform. We've seen people as high as president, and they've never put a uniform on. So that's the way I feel about it. I wore it for 21 years, and I was very happy. One of the best things that ever happened. Okay? All right. Okay. Before we get on, also, can you tell us where you're from, sir?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Greenville, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
The Mississippi Delta, a historic town of Greenville, and a historic high school, Coleman High School. And what made them so historic is that Greenville was the town that was really responsible for the descendants of the chattel slaves of America moving away from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. And also the historic Coleman High School was responsible for laying the foundation for desegregation across the United States of America. Gotcha. So the Mississippi Delta I was born and raised there.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Went to a lot of schools, Valley State University, Delta State University, served in the Marine Corps, honorably discharged, attended Eastern Michigan University. Yeah.
Yes, I attended, when I got out of the Marines, I went to Eastern Michigan University. I ended up co-founding a Black theater company in the Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor area called the African Renaissance Theater Company.
Thank you.
There, and we performed at the Langston Hughes Theater in Detroit for a number of years. That's my background. That's where I got my theater training.
Got you.
There, Eastern Michigan University.
Understand it was you, Darrell Dean, Josh Webb, Robert Ingram, all you guys got together.
Yes. All military veterans.
Got you. Mm-hmm. Tony, can you show me number 35 for a second there? This is there. Look at those guys. Those people look familiar.
Yeah, that's Ben Gilderly, the clerk there. That's The Roby Theater Company, when we was doing a project together.
Uh-huh.
The Roby is my foundation here in LA. I've been part of the Roby Theater Company for a number of years. Excellent theater company founded by Ben Guillory, Danny Glover. I saw Ben on your show a couple of weeks ago also.
Yes, we sure did. Yes. Mm-hmm. He's always fun to have. Mm-hmm. Good guy. Good guy. Can you show us the next one, Tony? This one that I think, The Emperor's Last Performance. Look familiar?
Yeah, Emperor's Last Performance, about the first famous Black actor in the United States, Charles Sidney Gipling. He's the first high-profile Black entertainer to protest the use of the N-word to describe the descendants of the chattel slaves of America. Became famous in the play by Eugene O'Neill, The Emperor Jones. And that's Dwayne and Robert performing The Emperor's Last Performance. Dwayne created that particular role, Dwayne Perry.
Outstanding. We got a video here, COINTEL, Marcus Messiah Garvey Jr. You wrote this, I'm told.
Emperor's Last Performance? Yes. Catch the Tiger, yes. Okay. About Marcus Garvey, yes, and J. Hoover. The first major case by J. Edgar Hoover. He studied the Garvey movement, developed the concept of infiltration and disinformation that became COINTELPRO. That's where he got all his knowledge studying that.
Okay. Tony, would you roll it, please? Take it home with you, you'll see that the audio was left on there. No problem. Okay. Revolutionary genocide. What is that about?
Revolutionary genocide is about when Paul Robeson and William Patterson took the United States before the UN on December 17, 1951, and accused them of attempted genocide against the descendants of the chattel slaves of America. And for that, both of them paid a huge price. Of course, Paul Robeson and William Patterson, Du Bois, their passports was taken. They couldn't get outside of the United States for 8 or 9 years for that particular petition. And that petition highlighted, it was put together by the great lawyer William Patterson, who was a lawyer for the Scottsboro case, the Black Panthers, Angela Davis, etc., like that. 137 incidents that was listed in there, lynching, burnings, etc., like that, in that particular document. And the play is about that. We're performing that play coming at Theater 68 up in North Hollywood on December the 15, 16, and 17, in which we will have a talk back after each one of the performers, especially on December the 17th.
Mm-hmm. How can you get tickets?
You can get tickets by going to the brown paper tickets and just putting a revolutionary genocide.
Okay. Is there a telephone number, any other way to get in contact?
Telephone number 213-908-6495.
Can you repeat that, sir?
213-908-6495.
6495. Okay, thank you. What is your book, Charles Gilpin National Theater Company?
The Charles Gilpin National Theater Company is how to put together a Black history national theater company situated in 24 areas of the United States of America with a center point in the Mississippi Delta. named in honor after, as I mentioned earlier, Charles Sidney Gipling. So based upon two models.
Yes.
The community theater model and the Lasana model. The community theater model is the harmonious integration of 7 components working in a spirit of harmony to present theater to the community under a national theater format situated in 24 areas of the United States with a center point in the Mississippi Delta, because the Mississippi Delta is a foundation of the cultural life of the descendants of the chattel slaves of America that we see in all of these different cities that segmented from each other. So it's important to have that national Black History Theater Company. An attempt was made. Go ahead.
No, I follow you.
An attempt was made in the late 30s, early 40s by Theophilus Lewis, W.B. Du Bois, Charles Gipling, Langston Hughes, etc., like that, to put that theater company, that National Black History Theater Company, together after the Federal Theater Project collapsed. And that's when we had a national theater company with the different ethnic groups all over the United States, financed by the United States, until they closed it down because they felt there was too many communists involved in it. But these thinkers like Du Bois, Robeson, etc., like that, felt that a Black theater company should be based upon 4 factors: by us, near us, for us, and about us.
Say that again, please.
By us, for us, near us, and about us. And see, yeah, we need that right now, and we almost pulled it off in the 40s, but what happened, you had a conflict between the playwrights and the actors on whether or not this should be a playwrights theater company or it should be an actors theater company. And they couldn't come together on that. And if we were able to put that together in the 40s, we not only would we be unified as a people, we would also we would have our own internet, we would have our own TV, broadcasting, and all that kind of stuff. But right now we are segmentized. For example, the community in Los Angeles is not connected to the Black community in Chicago or Atlanta, etc., like that. So
why is that so?
Well, the reason is so is because it have always been the efforts of the power structure to unite the people coming out of chattel slaves, because slavery. Because when we was coming out of chattel slavery, we were unified. We was just come out of bondage, and over 80% of the descendants of the chattel slaves of America was located in that Mississippi Delta area, you know, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, those areas like that. And because of so much discrimination that drove us out of these areas, we ended up in these cities where we find our communities at now, separated from each other.
Right.
And another reason that happened, I want to point this out because it's very important, is all the way up until the 30s. The Black community was basically under the leadership of Prince Hall Masons. And most of the Prince Hall Masons was connected. They had a Afrocentric ideology that they had inherited. You know, they provided most of the leadership. But after the 30s, after the collapse of the economy in the 30s, that leadership was taken over by mostly Greek organizations, you know, that provides the leadership now. And the major difference is that most of your Greek organizations, when you trace their history, they grounded in the European culture. as opposed to the African culture. And I thought that was a big mistake all the way up until the late 30s. I mean, the late 40s after the Depression, when Franklin D. Roosevelt came to power, and we had moved, as I mentioned earlier, after the 1927 flood, moved from the Republican Party of Lincoln to the Democratic Party of the Klan and the Confederacy. And that's a mistake that we're paying for and dealing with now.
We got a couple more minutes left. Here's one of a picture that we have called the Meekum Factor. Sound familiar?
The Meme Factor. That's yes, one of my books that's out now. It's about the secret history of the descendants of the chattel slaves of America, tracing them back to the Sumerian culture, that was found in ancient America, called the Blackhead people, the cuneiform writings, etc., like that. That book deals with that, break a lot of that down.
Okay. How about the Qumran report? You still doing that?
Yeah, still do the Qumran report. We did that at Skid Row Studios for about 3 or 4 years. And I tried to do that once a week where I would do some interviews and bring up some old shows from the Qumran report. Yeah, Qumran was a community of the Messiah Jesus. When they found the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947 that got some of the oldest scripture that you have, that you got found in the Bible, down to the original copies. And that community was called Qumran.
Got you. We got to get out of here now. We ran out of time. Before we leave, we got to talk about, you wrote an African-American cookbook, Nubian Delight, about your mother's cooking in the Mississippi Delta.
Yes, I'm in the process right now of updating that cookbook.
Yes.
Nubian Delight, 47 recipes that I come up on in the Mississippi Delta.
Melvin, once again, much thanks for what you've done for this country. I just want to thank you for being here today and sharing with us. Do come back again. I mean, 17 minutes go by like that. Share, wish we could give you more time.
Okay, and then come out. That's right, and come out for the performance in December. And thank you very much for having me on.
Always a pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, actor, author, and playwright, Melvin Ishmael Johnson. Thank you very much, sir. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your home run, Brewington. Roll it, Tony. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, a good friend of mine, Kevin Fleming, that's the guy in the middle there, passed away Thursday, September 21st. He suffered from pancreatic cancer for a long, long time. Our prayers are with him. Unfortunately, his family is in need of financial assistance. If you would please help them, go to the most sincerely way you got, and that would be to go www.gofundme.com. That's F/we can use a hand. That's we space can space use space a space hand. Okay? Name Kevin Fleming. Rest in peace. Roll it, brother.
I don't have any pictures to put up.
Ladies and gentlemen, for more information about the Tack Roll Cool channel, please give us a call at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Okay? Okay. Roll it, Tony.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly.
Wrong video. That's the wrong. Okay, there we go. Okay. There was a film, okay, with one that I had in mind. Our next guest today is one of a zillion persons, ladies and gentlemen, who back up the actors and actresses when movies and TV shows are being made. Sometimes these folks are not even known, not even heard of, unless you're in the industry community with them. So we're very grateful this day to talk to one very widely known lady. Okay, she's been around a long time, paid her dues. She sure did. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome additional crew, second unit or assistant director, Kimberly Sizemore. Now you can talk, lady. Now you can talk.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for thinking of me.
Thank you, darling.
You know, an assistant director, started off as a production assistant.
Yes.
Worked as a stage manager for a very long time.
Yes.
And was able to go back and forth to film, to television, where,
yes.
You know, I like TV a lot because you didn't have to travel too much and you worked 5 days a week. And I worked with a lot of kids. So we had to go home by 5 o'clock, and you know that's like a regular job.
Oh yes.
And you know the kids had restrictions, and I was very fortunate. I've been very fortunate in all the work that I have done. I met some fantastic people. I have worked with, you know, I'm a little old, so I've worked with all the old.
Oh, you're 37 years old.
Yeah, right. Something around. And you know, it has served me well. I'm from Mount Vernon, New York. I started early. I worked at the New York Shakespeare Festival as an usher before I decided to. I met a guy. His name was Bernie Gersten. He was one of the producers with Joe Papp, and I told him how much I liked working as an usher, and he said, "You need to come and work for us because we have the Delacorte Theater." So I was an usher at the Delacorte Theater. And then I worked in the wardrobe department, when I really got the bite about show business.
Yes, that was Disco Godfather, I believe.
Disco Godfather. That was one of my first movies when I came to California. We did Disco Godfather. Rudy Ray Moore. I can't say enough good stuff about that brother. That's a good man.
Yes, ma'am.
He helped so many young filmmakers. All of my friends, I was here starving. I was at AFI.
Yes.
As a cinematographer, and I was working as an electrician, and I hated that job. And my homies that I was going to film school with, the only jobs we could get were these independent films. And Rudy, Cliff Rockmore, and a bunch of guys from inner city, they scooped us, all of us young film, Russell Williams, a whole bunch of people that have gone on to have done so many different things. And Rudy, he used to live in the Dunbar Hotel.
Yes.
And we shot in the Dunbar Hotel.
Yes.
Disco Godfather, we did Penitentiary. I worked on Penitentiary, Leon Isaac Kennedy. We did some stuff back in the day. Oh my goodness. But every job we learned. I learned from every job. And, you know, working in New York, I left New York because I didn't think I could be more successful. I didn't think I wanted to be in the movies.
Okay.
I left New York. I came to California. I got into AFI because I was in a program in New York.
Yes.
That was called the Comprehensive Education and Training Act, which was Lyndon Johnson. We go all the way back. And this was to promote a minority men and women into the entertainment industry. So I got into this program. I shot a reel of film. I took that film and I got accepted into AFI.
Yes. But what happened? Something happened?
Photographer. I was there for a year. Yes. I was there and watching movies, lighting, learning the movie business.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. Yes. And when I came out of there, I knew how movies was made.
Yes.
So a friend of mine named Asst Scott.
Oh, yes. We don't know him.
Oh, yes, we know him. Well, that's my homeboy from Mount Vernon, New York.
I see.
He told me, he said, "Kim, I got a movie. I'm moving to California." I was like, "A movie? You're going to work on a movie?" He said, "Yeah."
Yes.
I said, "Well, I'm directing a movie with Richard Pryor, Cicely Tyson. It's called Bustin' Loose." at Universal.
Busting loose.
Yes, yes. I said, listen, I don't have a job right now. And every director I ever know or heard of needs an assistant. You call those people and you tell them that you need an assistant and you can hire me because I know how movies are made. And he was like, I could do that? I said, yes. Call your agent, tell your agent to call the studio. I can start in 2 weeks. I got a call a week later. Kim, they want you to start next week. I said, okay. I was at Universal for 3 years working on that movie, Bustin' Loose, which kind of got, messed up because Richard got in an accident and then he had to go back and do the reshoots. And then the kids that was in the movie grew up and we had to go back. And Michael Schultz took over and they kept me on the movie. I was the only one. I was running the office for 2.5 years at Universal. Furniture, TV, we would go to screenings. I would call up and have them do screenings for me. It was fantastic. So
speaking of me, when you mentioned Busting Loose, just happen to have that one. Roll it, Tony.
Richard Pryor is Joe Braxton. He's an ex-con.
You know what I was in prison for, Joe?
What?
Murder.
With a mean parole officer.
I'm gonna burn your butt on this one, man.
Braxton's bad.
Stop the bus!
Shut up.
Stop the bus!
I don't like your attitude.
So what? I mean, he's...
You didn't hear sound now, but when you take it, we'll send you a copy and you'll hear everything he said.
Okay. I met Richard on that movie. Mm-hmm. I worked for him on Brewster's Millions.
Yes.
And a couple of other movies. We worked with Walter Hill. Richard was such a genius, such a great guy to work for. He had issues, but he treated me like he was the best brother. He was such a great person to work for. I love Richard with all my heart. He helped me so much. Everybody was afraid of him. So if there was ever any problem, they would give me a hard time. I said, well, I'm just going to have to go and talk this over with Richard. And they were like, oh, well, wait a minute. We can straighten this out. And they didn't want to cross him in any way, shape, or form. Richard was an amazing person to work with, a talent, a genius, a fellow member of the Directors Guild, which I joined later. And, I left there and I was able to go from film and to television. I started, my first TV show was Amen.
Yes.
And from there, I was like, I was at I think Amen was at Paramount. And then I went to Universal to work on He's the Mayor with Kevin Hooks and Al Fan and a couple of other people. I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. But I got my chops in the TV thing. And I was fortunate enough to, from there, I started working. I met a man at Warner Brothers named Henry Johnson. Henry Johnson, a producer. He'd been at Warner Brothers for 100 years. I think he's retired now. Henry Johnson referred me to everybody at Warner Brothers. I started working and hanging with Mr. Cooper. I worked with, I'm trying to look and see what else it says here. Head of the Class I worked on. I worked on all of these TV shows. There was two brothers that worked at Papazian, I think their last name was, at Universal, at Warner Brothers, and they kept me working. They liked me. I work very hard. I go to work.
I just heard that New York accent. I just heard it.
Well, it's there. And I've always had to, in one of the few females of color, I always had to work a little harder to let people know, I know what I'm doing and you should not mess with me. Because
what are you doing these days?
I am retired, darling.
Oh,
I retired mainly because the business has changed a very great deal. My friends, and I worked with friends most of the time, people that I really knew. I started working with and competing for jobs with people over the years that I had worked with, that I had trained. I was competing with them for work. And I was like, I am too old for this. And I kept it up. I did the
37 years old, folks, 37.
Yeah. I did the Parenthood at
Parenthood. You did the Parenthood
for 6 years.
That's
TV,
right.
TV,
1995 to 1999. Yes.
TV,
Yes.
and Robert Townsend. I
Mhm.
can't say enough, but he was my savior. He
Yes.
was a terrific person to work for. I was his first and second AD, second stage manager, and the producers called me and they were like, "Kim, we want to give you this job. Now, do you think
Yes.
you could do it?" And I was like, "Yes." And they were like, "Okay, Robert wants you to do it. We want you to do it. All we ask is that this show starts taping on Friday, every Friday at 6:00. Can you do that?" And you run the rehearsals. I was like, "I could do that, honey." We never missed a date. We have, drama, drama. We had some drama going on. Suzanne Douglas, Faison Love, the little kids that were Kenny Blank and Reagan Gomez, those people.
Is that the picture right there?
That's them. Oh, my, and Curtis. Oh, I loved 6 years. I watched that little girl grow up. They all learned how to read, the kids. It was terrific. And Tyrone back there, he came in later. It was the most fantastic job I ever had. And Ron, to having the job that you knew we got renewed 6 years, I was like, thank you. Thank you. My pension fund, thanks you. My home, thanks you. It was a very, 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 for me, it was great. And
IMDb said you had about 70 episodes that you did.
That's right. That's right. A lot. And I learned something every week. We had guest stars. Robert was fantastic. Robert also took me, his other producer, Laretha Jones. We did Carmen, that was on, I don't know, Beyonce's first movie.
Got you.
Yes. And she was young and green and amazing. Even then, she was like a star in the making. It was fantastic to work with her. What a beautiful person. Wow. That's all I can say. A lady, a true lady, a talented performer. And, I've been, because when I left Parenthood, I went over to Disney and worked on That's So Raven for a number of years. By that time, I was just working as a second AD, so a second stage manager. So I went in a couple of days a week, but I was there for about 4 or 5 years. It was pretty cool. And hey, I did Freaks and Geeks. I'm thinking Freaks and Geeks, that was one of episodic TV was real serious. I had no idea that it was like, that you had to work this hard every day. Right. And I think we did 23, 24 episodes and they got canceled, but I made a lot of friends there and it was fantastic, a fantastic work experience. And during that time, I also worked we did Friday.
Right.
And the Ice Cube crew, we did the Players Club. And I just loved them so much. We had such a good time. I worked with some real fun, talented, challenging, I must admit, and people, but we always got our work done. And I think it was very important in those days that, you had to be represented. I worked with a lot of people of color and I felt very comfortable with them, without them. But it was always, when you have your amen corner,
yes,
I have to worry about stuff. It's like, y'all know what I mean, right? And they were like, yeah. Yes,
you know what you said this. I like what you said. You said your health is your wealth.
That is. And it's very important to stay healthy. I spent so many years on my feet, so many years, 16, 18-hour days, traveling back and forth. I was very fortunate, Ron, and I have 2 new knees. My knees are 30 years younger than I am. Okay. Both of them. And don't stop. I've done 2 LA marathons.
All right.
I walk. I don't run.
Okay. As long as you made it. 26 months.
I have my medals in the closet. Yes. And, it's been a really good adventure for me. I've been very fortunate to meet the people and do the work.
Okay.
The work does not change. And that's what I could tell people that are looking to be in this business. Go on out there, take these chances. You're going to have to work for free a little bit from time to time. But, you know, once that money starts coming in and once you start learning and you get more and more secure with the knowledge that this is a business, this is the business of show. And, you know, you're here to work. You can have little friends, you can do what you want to do, but at the same time, it's so important. The work is important because that's what follows you. I mean, I look at my little resume and I used to have some old printed resumes, you know, everything is electronic. So I couldn't find it, but I was thinking, you know, I did a lot of stuff. I worked on the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid. As a production.
We're out of time. We got only one quick thing I got to ask you. Tell us about your famous trademark hat when you were on set.
My trademark hat?
Yes.
That hat that I have on in the picture.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I just put, I was thinking about wearing it. Well, there's a picture of my mom and she has a hat like that. So I always have, it's a bucket hat. I have one for the winter, one for the summer, and I just bought one on a leather one for the winter. So yes, it brings me luck and it makes me secure because, you know, you have to keep your head covered from time to time.
Kimberly, I hate to do this to you. We got to go, but thank you for being here on the Actor's Choice. I really enjoyed having you share what happens to your community. And please do come back again, okay?
Please, thank you for having me.
You have and write a book. Go write a book. You got a lot of things to say.
Okay? I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
All right.
I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Life, The Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Breinstein's Actor Training Facility and Actors Space. Much thanks to our guest today, actor, director, producer Matt Chait, actor, playwright, author Melvin Ishmael Johnson, and additional crew, second unit or assistant director Kimberly Sizemore. The Actor's Choice is a presentation of B&B Production. Rudolph Brewington is the president, and Cindy Chandler is our executive producer. Special thanks to our ever-growing audience. I'm Ron Brewington. Please, ladies and gentlemen, have a happy Thanksgiving Day holiday, okay? Okay, we'll see you next time.